All right, let's kick this webinar on Artemis off. Welcome, everybody. It is 7:02 p.m. GMT. We are broadcasting live from London, and it is, of course, our great pleasure to introduce a very interesting technology to trading. I won't say only binary options, but trading in general, because the product is going to be available for FX and eventually stock trading as well. Okay, so I'm going to go over quite a few bullet points, set apart about 45 minutes for the webinar if you have time. It is, of course, recorded and it will be uploaded to all our services during the coming week. So let's first begin with who Artemis is for. Okay, and I'm going to save a lot of you time if you have erroneously come to this webinar looking for signals. If you are looking for safe, transparent auto trading in binary options and eventually FX, which we are starting at the end of January, then go to Signal Hive. Okay, that is where we provide those services. So for people that don't have time to trade themselves, they have no time to get into chart mechanisms and learning how to trade, that is what Signal Hive is for. Artemis is not a signal service. Okay, although it has high quality trade recommendations in it, it is tailored to the trader who has time to dedicate daily and is actually serious about taking control of their financial future, both in foreign exchange and, of course, binary options. The next question is, do you need any software? No. So that's good news. Artemis is fully web-based. It's not something you need to download or worry about operating systems, and it functions well in terms of connectivity to your broker. You can use it on a VPS, especially if you have overnight positions. We would recommend that to ensure that there is no chance that connectivity will be cut if you already have one, but it is not required. All right? Now, if you are asking yourself, look, I have no clue what trading is. I'm very new to FX and to binary options. Is this still for me? Yes, it is. So we've specifically designed Artemis to cater for newbies as well, right from the user interface to its functions to its applicability. However, if you don't know how to trade, as in you're struggling to understand when to go long or when to go short, you will first need to learn basic chart analysis and a trading strategy, both of which we teach in our Blue Sky Binary Academy, which includes Artemis access for free. All right, and I'm going to go over commercials and pricing later. So again, before we proceed, if you are serious about growing your equity over time, then Artemis is a platform designed by traders for traders. Okay, and that makes us very unique in the marketplace because we are not a platform provider. We're not providing trading platforms to brokerages. So we're not designing platforms to help brokers make money or ensure that you lose money, which is what other companies unfortunately do, or the bulk of companies do. We're an independent technology and research company, as you know. So before I get into what Artemis is, it's very important you understand, and a lot of you are Trading University members, so all of you probably already know it, but it's very important for those of you that are not. You understand the mechanisms behind why retail traders lose money. All right. So trading is not solely an online activity. What do I mean by that? The impacts of trading wins and trading losses have significant chemical impacts in our brain and specifically our adrenal glands, right? The adrenal glands sit above your kidneys and they release adrenaline, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. Okay, I'm going to explain exactly what that is. And this pertains to you. If you have lost money, it's very important that you listen to what I'm about to say next. Our evolution as biomechanical human beings was made possible by our fight or flight mechanism. Some of you may have heard about this, some of you have not, so I'll tell you what that is. However, this fight or flight mechanism was only to be triggered in dire circumstances, not daily, not hourly. As our body confuses trading losses with threats to our existence, as lower finances reduce our survivability. Think about that link for a minute, okay? When you see a tiger in a forest or someone with a knife on the street, immediately your heart starts to race. The blood starts to race to your arms and your legs so you can run away or you can fight the foe. This is a natural evolutionary response. But your body does not know the difference between that threat and the threat of facing a blown account. Because if you have no money in your account, you can't fend for yourself or your family. These are two evolutionary threats, and we, at our subcranial level inside our brain, cannot distinguish that. Rationally, we can, but irrationally, our survival instincts are dictated by our irrational part of our brain. Okay? Evolution in electronics and social media, of which, by the way, online trading is a big part of, or at least a derivation of, has allowed our fight and flight responses to become hypersensitive. And after experiencing successive wins or losses, we are very much on the edge. And we may have multiple such reactions during a trading session, especially if you have experienced a lot of wins or losses. And so your body is continuously on overdrive, releasing adrenaline and cortisol. Now, this has a significant impact. These chemicals are hurting us. This dulls our strategic thinking, and emotions tend to govern the bulk of our trading decisions. This is why we martingale. Okay? This is why you martingale. This is why you revenge trade, because you're incapable of accepting a threat to your survival, which is perfectly normal. Okay? And before I move forward, let me just go through the structure of the brain. The brain is divided into three parts. The first is the neocortex. This processes thoughts, meanings, logic, associations. Your strategy, your FX trading strategy is played out here. All right? The middle brain is the limbic system. This processes simple emotions. And that's the bit that is dangerous, because that's the bit that takes over your neocortex, your strategic bit, when you're facing multiple losses. Okay, that's the bit that takes over when you have your fight or flight. That bit and the brainstem, which is the lower bit that you see here, the reptile brain. Okay, this governs autonomic functions like breathing, fight or flight, appetite, sleeping, and so forth. The upper part, part one, is what you want to be governing your strategic decisions, but it's not. Okay, when you're trading. So here's the big question. For all of you that have suffered losses so far in binary options, why isn't anyone stopping you, right? Once you've experienced a fight or flight response or episode after a string of losses, typically it happens after a string of losses, but also sometimes after quite a few wins, your amygdala, which is a small region in the middle part of your brain that I showed you earlier, has taken over your neocortex, okay? And you're in revenge trading mode. Have you ever tried to log out and stop yourself from blowing your account when you're in that frenzy? You know how it feels when you're martingaling and you're martingaling. You know exactly what I'm talking about right now, right? And does your account manager from your binary options or your FX broker call you up and say, hey, you're in trouble. Please log out, right? Do they force you to log out? No, because they make money when you lose. Certainly in binary options, that's the case, right? If not so much in FX. So if they can't help you, and no one's really going to physically drag you from the screen, and your brain isn't evolved enough, right? I mean, ultimately, your neocortex, your rational part of your being, just gives in to your carnal part. So what's going to really help you? Well, actually, it's the software. It's the trading terminal that needs to decide you've had enough. Because your broker's not helping you, your brain's not helping you. And your market is certainly not helping you, right? The market is always difficult. So let's talk about current platforms. And I know a lot of you are itching to get to the features. Don't worry, we're going to cover all of them, but it's very important that we set the stage. So bear with me here. Whether you are trading FX using MT4, MT5, or one with a generic web traders, right? A lot of these FX brokerages come with generic web traders. Most of them are pretty bad, pretty clunky. Some are okay. Um, Generally speaking, if you are trading on binary options, you'll be using a spot option platform, which is very generic as well, a markets pulse platform, or other generic binary option web traders at your binary broker. Now, the question is, do these traders help you? Do these automatically log you out, right? Do these platforms alert you when you're about to hit a losing streak? Do they control your emotions when you are amidst a losing streak? Do they give you real-time feedback on your win rate, on your volume, on your Sharpe ratio, on how well you're doing versus other traders in real time right now around the world? Does it give you this information? Okay. No, it doesn't do this, and give you, it doesn't control risk for you. Okay. It allows you to control risk for yourself, and that's the most dangerous thing. Also, it doesn't give you the information that you need. So basically, you are trading chemically compromised because you can't control yourself when you're in trouble. And you're trading blind because you don't have the information. You don't know what your weaknesses are. You know, the amount of times that the trading team that runs BSB asks its clients, what is your put ITM? What is your call ITM? What is the volume you typically trade in terms of a number of trades on a Wednesday versus Friday? All this important information, people don't have the information. They don't have the data because the data is not given to them, right? And the answer, of course, to are the current platforms out there addressing this need is no. In binary options, platforms want you to lose, right? Or in the best case scenario, when you have a good binary options broker that is good at matching volume and has a large balance sheet so they can withstand losses, they don't really care whether you win or lose, which is also not good, right? Then you go to FX, where the platforms are so convoluted you don't feel like actually trading, right? And I'm talking about MT4, which is a fantastic tool, but it is so intimidating. And ultimately, this is what I want to ask you. There are 4 million, take that number down, 4 million retail market traders out there in foreign exchange. Why are 95% of them losing money? That's a true, real figure. You can look it up on any vetted, respected forum out there. 95% of FX traders lose money. If MT4 is that great, if all these platforms are so great, why is everyone losing money? The answer is that no one has designed these platforms correctly to help you make money. Okay? So why is Artemis different? Artemis covers all 4 bases: emotion control, risk management, analytics, and trading. All right? Artemis learns how you trade. It has an artificially intelligent algo inside it. Okay? It finds your daily routines of trading, your hourly, your minutely weaknesses by asset, by currency pair, and it builds a history of this. And then it warns you when you're about to trade in your weak zone. It won't stop you from trading, but it'll warn you. It'll say, hey, listen, you're not that good at trading the US dollar, Japanese yen, specifically at this time of day. Slow down or reduce your capital. It notices, and specifically if it notices that you have won too much, given your ability, your current level of technical understanding, it will force you to take a break. It will physically force you to take a break. If it notices you have lost too much, again, it will forcibly close out the trade terminal. You can access Artemis, you can do analysis, you can go out and take a walk, but it won't allow you to place a trade. Okay? And it will do this until your cortisol levels in your body have neutralized. So the breaks may last a few hours, but less is more and slower is better in trading. And this is what Artemis is predicated on. But that's not all it does. Through its deep analytics, it sends you a trading report daily and in real time, if you want it quicker, on how your key performance metrics and parameters are developing over time and relative to other traders around the globe. Okay, so you're not trading in isolation. Finally, it allows you to engage senior traders who are professional traders 24 hours of the day. Okay, our staff is on call and get their opinion on trade setups. So if you're not sure about a trade setup, get a second opinion, right? You can, of course, access the community, which is there in Artemis, but also you can access professional traders. On top of that, you get up to 200 robotic trade setups, which you can copy over to your trade terminal within one click and trade. Okay? So that's how Artemis is different. Now let's take a look at some of these functions a bit more depth. So emotion control, and there's a big difference between emotion control and risk management, right? I mean, the money management thing is so overdone. Everyone has a view on money management. Everyone says, oh, this money management is going to help you. Let's be perfectly honest. If money management is so important, right, why is 95% of the people blowing their capital in the industry? The answer is not that money management doesn't work. Money management works, but it's how good you implement it. And we mathematically showed you at the beginning of this webinar, systematically actually, that humans aren't capable of trading themselves. They need to be controlled. They need to be chained, literally, right? Because they can't manage their emotions. So how can you implement a money management system when you're revenge trading, trying to make up a bunch of losses? You can't. So more important than money management is actually emotion control. Okay, emotion management. And what Artemis will do, and by the way, you can set this up in account settings. When you enter the Artemis 25 days from today, you're going to go inside, you're going to be guided through a range of very detailed account settings. So take your time, set it up, because this is built to last. Okay? Artemis will forcibly lock you out of the trade panel, all right, inside the platform for a few hours. Now, you can set that timeout, whatever it is. And we have a range of risk templates, all the way from no risk all the way to freestyle, depending on whatever you want to do, right? We always suggest low risk, but once that template is set, that's how you're going to evolve as a trader, because Artemis will physically, A, not let you into the trade terminal, okay, until the timeout is done, but also B, you can't come back to the settings session and change your settings just so that you can go inside and revenge trade. There's a 7-day lockout, all right? So it'll basically protect you from yourself. Then, of course, you can tailor your trade allocation, your actual risk management, money management system to what you like. And over time, we're going to be adding a lot of sexy different types of money management systems in here as templates. But at the very beginning, you have a pretty powerful level of tailoring that you can engage in here. You can basically choose from 4 risk templates, as I mentioned earlier, which look at parameters such as your daily stop loss, the maximum percentage trade allocation, maximum daily percentage drawdown limit, your stop timeouts, your weekly drawdown limit, your monthly drawdown limit. Basically, this is all designed to protect your capital, okay? Because making money is easier, okay, and not losing it. I mean, losing money is the number one challenge. People do not know how to handle to hold on to gains. Okay. Tied to capital protection, which is one of Artemis's core routines, is the learning algorithm, which is continuously being evolved and sharpened by our engineers. The early warning system is learning how you trade, okay, and what your weaknesses are every minute of the day. And over time, it will build a rich tapestry of your trading routine, and then it will allow you to find out more about yourself, right? So if you are typically crap at trading the US dollar, Japanese yen on Monday mornings, and you try and do it again, it'll be, hang on, you've made these errors before, stop or slow down or choose a different pair or reduce your allocation per trade. And it keeps evolving. So as you become better, it will also give you more room for maneuverability, if that makes any sense. It's not like if you are crap in the beginning and you become good 2 months down the line, it will remember. It's not like it will. It's not like it won't forget, right? So it's very important to note that this evolves as you evolve. And with the early warning system, I don't want to get you guys too excited just yet, but it's worth noting that work on Artemis 2 has already begun. Artemis 1 is what is going to be launched. Now, Artemis 2 takes things to another level on the artificial intelligence side, where we have an autopilot function where it will trade for you. It will take over your trading and trade for you within your risk parameters. The technology is experimental right now, so we don't want to launch it just yet. But you've seen what damage Signal Hive can do. And by damage, I mean good for your accounts last year with Dive and Saki Turbo and stuff. So we have the algorithms in place that we are now tailoring for Artemis and for FX. So we're going to be adding an autopilot function, which will trade for you. Now, again, I don't want to get you all so excited that you're asking, why is this not there in the first release? This is for Artemis 2, which is planned for the second half of this year. But in Artemis 1, you'll have these features. Now, we covered capital protection. Let's discuss trade entry. This is how the trade panel looks. But there are 3 ways to trade from the Artemis. All right. You can trade from the trade panel, select long or short, create a pending order by clicking on the clock icon. Or you can directly add pending orders from the pending order array, which is a separate section in Artemis. And mind you, this is known as tripwire. For those of you that have been with us for the last few years in BSB Academy, basically the beautiful thing about this is that you don't have to sit in front of the charts. So you do, let's say, 1 hour of chart time in the morning. You see there's no major news, and you see some pretty solid entries, right? But you don't want to trade it right now. So like in FX, now on the binary option side, you can set those pending orders, how many ever you like, within your risk management parameters, and just set and forget. And Artemis will take those trades. Okay? But where things get really interesting is we're adding picto trading. We're actually bringing pictographic trading to binary options. It's already there in FX to a certain degree, but we want to take things to the next level. So with picto trading, this is the chart, right? And by the way, the good news is Artemis has an entire charting package inbuilt, so you don't need to use Oanda or all of that. You can certainly use them, but right now at a click of a button, it will open 8 charts in front of you. And you can draw geometry on the chart, flight paths, triangles, Wilkinsons, anything you want can be drawn on the chart, and you can trade straight from the chart and set pending orders, right? So if you like these specific entry points on the US dollar, Japanese yen, you just set it there and you're done, right? And the pending orders array will replicate that. Okay? Before we move on, very importantly, Artemis is social. Okay, so we haven't forgot social trading. You can see the pending orders of other Artemis users, right? So if there are some good Artemis users that have a good ITM, they have a 5-star ranking, then you'll be able to see, okay, that guy or this lady believes that the prices actually has a bit more to go. Maybe I should wait, right? So it gives you all these insights, and you can see that pictographically real time on charts. So the tech is pretty interesting and expensive, but mind you as well. I should say that. Or at least expensive to us, the creators. Okay, so we've gone over capital protection and trade entry. Let's discuss idea generation, right? So what if you're short of ideas? Generally speaking, you won't be short of ideas. If you're a trader, you always have ideas. And the market's always there. The key thing is to filter the good ideas. So in the trade ideas panel, we have over 200 trade ideas filtered over 30 currency pairs. Eventually, it'll be stocks and bonds as well, but right now we're sticking to currency pairs. And of course, outright signals, but only the best of Hive signals will appear here, such as Dive and Saki Turbo and Core sometimes, and Wave and those types. And of course, all the Core 4 indicators like Channel Surfer, Breakout, Dead Cat Bounce, all of them are being retweaked and engineered to become more accurate. Okay, so that's a good news. And immediately with one click of a button, which you see here, it'll load it onto your Artemis chart and you can trade it. For Artemis 2, it will actually find real-time on a chart your desired entry points for you. So the indicators, in theory, will become tradable signals and it will automatically set the pending orders for you. So more and more, we're letting AI enter the space. right? But for now, that AI is limited to the early warning system that I told you about earlier that tells you about your trades. But in future iterations of this technology, Artemis will be able to take these indicators and make them very, very actionable for you at good entry prices. Okay. Now, for those of you that don't know what Channel Surfer is, what Breakout is, you know that we have been around for about 3 years now. We have created a very rich and diverse market strategy known as Core, which has yielded some pretty powerful results for traders. So these are simply indicators that find you core formations in the market. If you don't know how to trade it, we have onboard education. You just click on it, and a window comes up with a short video and explains you how to trade it. Then we have employed staff specifically for the senior trader commentary section. Here are a team of two technical analysts who will cover hopefully around 18 hours, 20 hours of daily trading. We'll be posting, roughly speaking, one setup per hour, and their rationale behind the setup and what the recommended trade direction is, long and short. These setups are both for binary options and FX. Okay? And you can ask them about their view, why they've given that in the community chat area. And then you have community chat, very similar to Hive and binary and the binary dashboard. You will be able to chat to other Artemis users and trade with them. And we encourage this so much. Trade with others, right? Don't be shy, because that's going to increase your win rate. Okay, so now let's discuss performance tracking. This is probably my favorite bit. Analytics of a different level that you have seen in trading. So this is a screenshot, actually. That's a bit blurred for presentation purposes, but obviously the platform will be very rich, high definition. Here you'll see it gives you a today, weekly, and monthly snapshot of your win rate, your ITM, your volume, and your return on investment. But when you click on the plus icon or the drill down, it actually opens up a world of analytics where you can see your performance on a range of parameters, not just ITM and volume and win rate, but also on a range of variables, such as what is your win rate on Thursdays at 3 p.m. on a specific asset? And are you better at taking calls or puts or shorts and longs, right? And here's where things get really exciting. It also tracks your ITM by trade style. So what is your win rate on channel surfers? What is your win rate on breakouts? What is your win rate on dead cat bounces? It tracks all of that dynamically, right? And it shows that in a real-time animated chart. And you can see yourself relative to the community. So you know, if your ITM is 63%, that's great, but what if everybody else is at 70%? It's just an example, but the point is relative benchmarking, right? That's what really makes analytics stand out. So that's analytics. And to the top right, you'll see these two symbols. One is you can export as CSV. So for those of you data junkies out there, you can manipulate all the data in Excel. But also, for the first time, certainly in binary options, you can export your public link. This is verified stats, right? So it has our stamp of authority, our approval, the blue sky binary stamp, and you can show off to the whole world. Dynamic. This is a public accessible page. If you want to show off your results, you can show these off to everybody. So next time someone comes to you and says, give me your money, I'm going to trade for you, say, no, sorry, what is your Artemis performance link? Or what is your binary performance link, right? And this will be the equivalent of my FX book. Okay, this will prove you as a trader to the world, to yourself, and anybody that comes to you and says, I'm a great trader, tell them, well, sorry, you have to show us your performance link. All right? Okay, so that's performance tracking. And of course, needless to say, you can receive these as reports, daily reports each time you log out, weekly reports as well. Okay. So now comes the big question, broker compatibility. Straight off the bat, this tool is about making you money, which means we're not interested in integrating with specifically binary option brokers, but even FX brokerages that are not regulated, that don't have a strong track record of client accountability, withdrawal, safety, and platform transparency. And that filters out a range of brokers, right? Pretty much 90% of them. At launch, at the end of January, and we're going to go over the launch schedule in detail, Artemis 1.0 will ship with binary.com, virtual account and real money account compatibility. So you can trade it on a virtual and real money account. It's up to you. Now, binary.com is a relatively well-regulated and decent reputation broker with a very wide range of assets and withdrawal safety. All right. Is it without flaws? Absolutely not, as we found out last year in Signal Hive. There are limitations. However, we believe in a non-auto trading environment such as this, which is autonomous trading, where you are trading against the broker, you will be fine. All right. In February, ETX Binary, which is a subsidiary of ETX Capital, which is FCA regulated, will be available for Artemis as well. US clients will be able to enjoy Artemis on binary options probably in March, April, maybe May, when we integrate with Nadex. And that's going to happen. Right? We didn't integrate Hive with Nadex, but Artemis will happen with Nadex. At this moment, it is a great regret that we cannot offer Artemis to American citizens at the time of 1.0 launching, which is in about 20 days, because there is simply no broker that meets our criteria that accepts US clients. There are some Israeli brokers that accept US clients, but they do not meet our standards. Ultimately, we want you to make money with Artemis, right? And if there are brokers that are so gun shy and they get so scared, they flinch at every opportunity every time you're making money, that's just not going to work from an integrator standpoint. So we're only going with longer term options here. Now, with FX, it's a completely different story. Artemis will launch in March for FX with integration with the world's two top FX brokerages at this moment, which is CFTC regulated Oanda, which accepts Americans and Canadians, and ASIC regulated Pepperstone, which again is an excellent broker with a good reputation, and they are very big. Thereafter, Artemis will integrate with the Dutch market leader in FX, 365 Trading. Okay. Now let's discuss pricing, which I'm sure a lot of you are interested in. For non-BSB members, so members that are not part of the Blue Sky Binary Trading University at the time of this webinar, or soon to be called Academy, because we're launching the FX side of things as well, Artemis will retail for $49.99 a month with no hidden costs or upsells or unlocks or anything like that. And you, of course, have a free 7-day trial, right? So that's with all our services. This is for the binary options version. For the FX version, Artemis will be free. However, if you connect it to Oanda or Pepperstone. Now, you will ask why specifically those brokers. Firstly, they're probably the safest brokers in FX that we know. But more importantly, that's how we get paid. I shouldn't say more importantly, but equally importantly, that is how we get paid. And a small caveat on this point. Binary.com pays affiliates on losses. In binary options, that's how affiliates make money. That is why we receive no money on Signal Hive ever from binary.com for any losing months, ever, right? But in the FX world, these are STP brokers. They can offset balance sheet risk, they can hedge it, and they can pass on the risk to larger market makers. So they are mere pass-throughs, right? There is actually market makers in FX. So if you are making $100,000 a month with Artemis, the broker, the FX broker, Pepperstone, is not losing that money, okay? They're making a small commission on it. They're offsetting that risk. So we get paid on volumes on the FX side, okay? We earn, you earn, everyone earns. It's fine. The only people losing money, some of you more intelligent traders or more experienced traders will say, well, who's actually losing? The answer is Deutsche Bank. Believe it or not, it's actually Deutsche Bank. It's 20% of the market, followed by Goldman, JP Morgan. That's where the losses are ultimately crystallized. And that's okay. We don't care about that. They already have too much money. That's the 1%, right? So, in our opinion, it's a pretty well priced product. In my personal opinion, I believe the value of this is dramatically more, but we want to price it fairly and we want to make it a mass market product. For BSBTU members, it's free. And this is in line with our promise that we gave you 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, where BSB used to be priced at $50. Now the price is $100, and that's capped. BSB prices will never go up, but that doesn't mean we won't be adding more exciting services to the offering. So if you remember, Signal Hive is included, and Artemis is also free and included in your $99 per month subscription. Okay, and that won't change. So for those of you that are already paying members, congratulations, you can enjoy this thing for free and all the upgrades and everything. Now, for Signal Hive members, for those of you that are just members of Hive, we're giving you a 30% discount. So it's $34.99 a month, not $49.99 a month. And for dashboard members that just have access to dashboard, and there is a minority that specifically loves the recoil signals, it's a 30% discount there as well, which is $34.99. All right. Now let's discuss the launch schedule. You can ask questions about this. You can ask questions about other services because there's a big rollout happening there as well, as you know, in 2017. But this specific launch schedule I'd like to discuss for Artemis. So January 30th until February 10th, one of those days by surprise at midnight, we're going to launch Artemis. Okay, but we're not going to tell you when, but in that period. And it will be for binary options first with binary.com broker integration. About 1 month later, in the second week of March, we're going to be offering Artemis with ETX, also binary options. Then at the end of March, 2 weeks after we integrate with ETX, Artemis FX will be launched for all you FX traders out there. And it'll be launched for Pepperstone, which is a major regulated FX broker, and very shortly thereafter for Oanda. In May 2017, Artemis 2.0 will be launching with Oanda integration for US clients. And 2.0 will include technologies like autopilot and automatic indicator trading. In the second half of 2017, Artemis with Nadex integration and possibly a few spot option brokers if they're around. In our view, the most legitimate spot option broker option trades ceased to exist a few months ago, which was a bad thing for the industry. And so we would only integrate with spot if there are legitimate brokers like option trade around. If not, we're very happy to bypass them. For those of you that are more techy, that are more geeky, that like to develop expert advisors and algorithms, we are also launching Artemis Abacus, which is Artemis's own open source coding language for traders, which will allow you to make your own EAs on Artemis. So you don't have to use MT4 anymore, and creating EAs on Abacus will be significantly easier. It'll be purely visual. Okay? So Artemis Abacus is what the iPhone was to the phone world versus MT4's MQL, which is a very powerful language, but of course it is very non-accessible. Okay? And on that note, I will open this up to questions. Feel free to ask your questions now. Okay. Thank you for the feedback, Miles. Much appreciated. So a question from Austin Miles. Will ETX integration also be available for Signal Hive in March? Yes, Austin, it will. It will. There's one point I want to make. ETX integration is happening for all our products, so I would not be worried about that. It's just not a question of if, but when. But we learned a very expensive lesson from binary.com last year. And I believe, maybe not you specifically, but we know a lot of our clients made around $500,000 with binary.com last year, either directly on Signal Hive or through our white labels. And then binary.com shut off those key hours. Now you've seen that we have managed to innovate around that with some new signals coming on stream so that binary.com cannot shut off integral key hours such as 8 a.m. and things like that without looking like absolute muppets in the marketplace. But I would like to point out that while ETX is heavily regulated and safe, ETX's platform provider is Markets Pulse. They are based in Israel, and we cannot guarantee if someday they decide, hey, Signal Hive is making too much money, we are shutting off ETX, or we're done with ETX. Right? ETX is a great company. They're based here. They're regulated, but ultimately, their platform provider could go down that same route. Right? So we just always want to caution you that I would view, and this is my personal opinion, and as you know, I run the Binary Bears show as well with Zio, and we've said this before on the show, is you have to step back and view binary options auto trading and signal services as side income. You can make a few $100 a month. That's good enough, pay a few bills. You versus the market alone at any particular broker, especially if you have Artemis as a tool, then you can start to make a few $1,000, right? My personal opinion, again, despite what binary.com did, it would be safer to trade with them mainly because of their size, right? We know for a fact they have 15 to 20,000 monthly active users. You are going to be trading with smarter technologies like Artemis. Those users are trading using the binary.com platform, which leaves a lot to be desired, with all due respect to any innovators in this on that front, right? So if you have these tools, you can extract profit from the market, which is ultimately the losses of others. And I would view this selfishly. So that's the attitude I would take. And the same holds true for ETX, but just prepare yourself that, and we've done this as a company. Firstly, we have engineered our signals outside of that spectrum, that dangerous 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. zone. More importantly, we're moving to FX. We're launching Hive FX with a range of decent performing signals. Because in FX, you can make a lot of money, as much money as you want per month, pretty much, right? You don't have to worry, will the broker pay? So I do not want you to think that ETX is the panacea and the holy grail of binary options auto trading. We broke binary options last year. We bust it. We have results to show for it. You were there. And we have the technologies to do the same in FX. Just with FX, the market is so massive that no one's really going to notice, and that's good for you. So in short, focus on FX, see the binary side of things as a moneymaker on the side. All right, I see a question from Chris Jeffrey. Sounds great, may I ask, has Markets World been dropped? Also, when is HydraFX coming to ETX for Hive? And ETX for Hive. Okay, there's a lot in there, Chris. Love to hear all this nomenclature. Very, very interesting. You've been following us for a long time, I can tell. Markets World has been dropped. That's correct. Their management team heard what happened with binary.com and they got the jitters and they basically said, unfortunately, those hours won't be available. We're happy to integrate. And integration will take 6 months because of their pairs. They are paltry. They only have a few, whereas binary has a lot. So, whichever way you slice and dice it, the circuit kind of breaks and you just have one open gate, and that seems to be binary.com at this moment. But yeah, Markets World has been dropped, not because of us, as in owing no part to us. Our tech team was ready, but they just, they found out. Word gets around. But that's fine. That won't be happening to us in FX. With regards to ETX for Hive, March as well. So the ETX team is actually waiting for us. We want to get Artemis out. We've done all the back-end work necessary to integrate ETX, so probably March, Feb to March. Okay, Christian Soder is saying, Abacus, where can I download the development platform? We made open source in August of this year, Christian, so it's not yet ready. It's actually being built. We're basically taking apart MQL and some of the other languages and seeing what things can be done more user-friendly. We want people to be able to build it visually, completely visually, without any coding. Great question from Mike Trend. Can a trade be placed for several brokers at the same time? In the first version, not. So you'll have to select whether it's binary.com or ETX, because the way it works is the pairs that you will see on the charts in Artemis and in the trade panel and in the indicators and in the signals will be the pairs that are specific to that platform. So binary.com will have its array, ETX will have its array, bank to binary will have its array. I'm totally kidding about bank to binary, by the way. It was a bad joke. But basically, that will be the um, the compatibility. Eventually, what we're going to do is we'll give you the ability to basically link up 2 or 3 or 4 brokers, and when you take a trade on US dollar, Japanese yen, you can replicate it on all 4. That's not there in the first version, but definitely, I think it's something we can incorporate for 2.0. All right, so question regarding the analytics sections from Jerome. The analytics data will only contain record on the trade we made for us. Yes, Jerome, correct. You will be able to see the average performance on these metrics of other traders, but not individual other traders. So, for example, you won't be able to see my ITM. I won't be able to see your ITM, but you'll be able to see the ITM of the group. How soon will the tutorial be available on video? Shiraz is asking. The day it launches, Shiraz. Leighton is asking for the coding language. Is there any similarity to any major programming language? There will be similarities to certain program languages, but it will be quite detached. It will be more 3D based and object oriented. And we'll have more information on that closer to launch. Thank you, Alex, for the feedback. Follow up from Jerome. Will it be a general as we have in Hive Analytics, Core, Turbo, and other Artemis users too? Yes, Jerome, I believe that's been answered. Okay. Roland is asking, can you say something to the FX features already? Will Artemis give recommendations special for FX too and trade ideas for FX? Absolutely, Roland. Yes, Chris. The total damage done to binary.com was around 500,000 last year in those 3 months where we had a golden era, as we call it, where it was just, people were making $400-500 a day on dive and things like that. Good question from Michael Warmold. When do the Signal Hive EAs launch? Is this part of a different product? So Signal Hive EAs is part of Hive FX, Michael. Hive FX is completely different to Artemis. That's launching in about a month. Austin Miles asking, did individuals make 1 to 2 million or total traders made that much? Austin, 0.5 million was made by, in total, 1,200 traders. Stavros is asking, re-Abacus, will there also be a strategy generator where you can download your strategy since the AI will know how you trade and what is the best combination? Absolutely. Beautiful idea. That's where we want it to evolve. That's why it'll be community-based. I don't think we will launch it with that capability for it to create strategies by itself. That takes a bit of machine learning expertise, but we certainly have that expertise on board, which I'm very happy and proud of. So it's definitely an angle we would like to take Abacus in. And I'm interested to see that there's so much interest in Abacus as well. See a question from Siraj. Hive. Question on pending orders. Will it be possible to make a timed trade? So at candle close, trade will be opened automatically with the start of the new candle. Very good question. On the pending order facility, no, not at first. But in the logic builder in Abacus, yes, you'll be able to create your own little robots that do that. So a question from Nin Go, can you confirm Artemis will have some signals from Signal Hive included? Yes, Nin, it will. That's a question from Yas Abbas. When FX training is due to start in BSPTU? Great question, Yas. We are ready to go in 10 days from now. Shiraz is saying, FYI, ETX is not available for Canadian clients. Yes, Shiram. Thank you, Shiraz. Christian, this webinar is recorded. Yes. Alexandra is asking, one question about Oanda. I see Oanda will be available in May, but only for US clients. I have a European Oanda account. I will not be able to use Artemis. Of course you will. You will be able to use it. It's for all clients globally. I know you're probably trying to get around the FIFO regulation. Thank you, Mario, for the feedback. What is ETX? Where is ETX situated? So ETX is London FCA regulated here in London. ETX binary is actually not regulated, but it falls in the umbrella and the general regulation of ETX Capital, which is their mothership. So it has the same compliance department, just to be completely on the same page. Thanks again for the kind words. It's a question from Chris Jeffrey. So basically, you can follow and replicate others' trades with a 5-star rating, even if you're kind of clueless yourself. Yes, Chris, eventually you'll be able to do that. See a question from Richard Desroquers. If I understand, we will have Hive FX. Can we trade these signals with any FX brokers when FX will be available? Yes. That's the good news. Yes. Question from Mark Test. When will Hydra launch? Thank you, Mark, for the feedback. Hydra FX, which is Hive FX, will be out in February. See a question from Victor Caballero. I need to trade the Signal Hive manual signals. Will you have Signal Hive manual signals on Artemis? Yes, we will. Chris Jeffries asking, will this be web browser based or software installed? It's web based, Chris. Rex is asking, when did they cut off Canadians? We don't know. I think it was around 2-3 months ago, but we've spoken to them. They plan to bring them back, if you're referring to ETX. Okay, any further questions from anybody else? Last call for questions. For HiveFX, will a similar pricing strategy be used where brokers other than recommended will attract a fee? Leighton, yes. $49.99 a month at first, but eventually as we integrate with more brokers, since we can then get compensated on volume, we will price the product for free as well. Okay? But in order for brokers to integrate with Hive, they have to be at the same quality or the same ilk as Oanda and Pepperstone. And they need to offer fixed API, which is the industry standard leading API, which is used by New York Stock Exchange just for securities. So if they have the fixed API, then we can integrate with them and we can price Artemis for free for FX retail clients. Richard, a good question. Hive FX will be available next month. What will it cost? It's free, so it's the same $49.99 that you're currently paying to access Hive. Hive FX is just a plugin, so as long as you're paying that $50 a month, you get access to both binary options and Hive. And in there, we're going to add a few solid, back-tested, powerful FX streams. And those we priced at $29 each per month. So in total, you're looking at $70 a month. With a VPS, maybe $85 a month. Question from Chris. Where are the EAs you mentioned? Hive, Chris, that's a separate webinar. We're going to go through each in very much depth. All have 10-year MyFX book links as well, in line with our quality and transparency. Good question from Stavros. Will traders be able to follow fellow traders? In version 2, yes, of Artemis. In version 2, you'll be able to literally click on the trader and track them, right? But we want this to be a tool where you are trading for yourself and using community intelligence. Ultimately, if you're following traders, might as well just go to Signal Hive, right? So there needs to be a demarcation. See, a question from Richard Desroquers. In Canada, I use Trade as a broker with their MT4 platform. Have you considered them? We've never heard of them, but if they're regulated and safe, then please connect them to us, to their management team, and we'll take a look. Yas is asking, will there be any tutorial videos for Artemis? Yes, Yas. Very detailed, in-depth tutorial videos. Okay. I don't see any further questions. We hope that was informative. This is recorded. It's going to be uploaded to all our online assets, dashboard, Skype, and of course, Hive. And sorry, I'm getting a few more manual questions. Chris is asking, would Artemis be easier to trade than manual on Hive? Yes, mainly because Artemis has risk management on board. If a signal is given, you're not going to experience any delay in Artemis. More importantly, though, I would say it's just a risk management and motion control. So if you're having a bad day on Hive, nothing is there to really stop you if you're manually trading, because you're trading on the broker's platform, whereas on Hive, it's there to protect you. That's the main reason, I would say. I hope that makes sense. Good. See no further questions. So we wish you all a good evening. And in about 20 days from now, 21, 22 days, we welcome you all aboard and look forward to seeing you inside Artemis. Have a good evening, everybody, and trade safe.